Well, we just told you about the Pentagon creating a rapid response team, a quick strike team to respond to Ebola here in America. But our next guest says that this is simply proof that the Obama administration has mishandled the crisis from the beginning. Joining us now is Republican Congresswoman Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee. Congresswoman, thank you so much. We want to know what your take is about the news that we just broke here on these new quick strike teams. What do you believe?
Well, I give them credit for taking the step. I do think that it proves that, first of all, they did not have a plan, and secondly, since they didn't have a plan, they didn't know what the implementation would be, and the bureaucracy is so bloated that they can't figure out how to get that plan in place and implemented. So they're turning to the military. I give them credit for realizing that, and I'm certain that you're going to see DOD and the medical team, the DOD medical team, take charge of this and have a group that's ready to be deployed to help any of our nation's hospitals on getting up to speed on how to handle this.
Although, with all due respect, the strike teams would be there to play a supportive role in all of this. So what you're saying, though, it suggests that the appointment of a new Ebola czar, in fact, a manager, as he's being described, could effectively coordinate U.S. efforts more sufficiently to calm the panic. So are you in favor of Mr. Klain's appointment as the Ebola czar?
We needed somebody to coordinate all of the efforts and bring together the resources. That is true. There is disappointment, and I'm disappointed that we have someone who is a spin master and not someone who is a healthcare professional or a emergency response professional handling this. I think his only emergency response was the Bush-Gore recount in 2000. And I think that as I've talked to constituents and as I've talked to healthcare professionals, they're deeply disappointed. They would have loved to have seen someone like General Honore, who did such a good job after Katrina, or former Senator Bill Frist, who is a physician and has worked in the affected region in Africa, as well as having been a U.S. Senator, knowing the government resources to coordinate this. Someone who has skill sets, Deborah, in each of these components that have to be brought together in order to handle this. We know in order to deal with this, you have to isolate it. And the best place to isolate it is there in West Africa.
So, well, let's talk about that, Congresswoman.
Sure.
You're on the record questioning the wisdom, however, of sending troops to these Ebola-impacted countries.
Yes.
So if you want to isolate it in Liberia, why not throw your full support behind these troops helping out this devastated region?
I have 1,500 troops that are going to be deploying from Fort Campbell. So we're going to stand with them completely and totally and fully support them in their efforts. We're very concerned about how they're going to move forward through this. I have found it interesting that DOD is going to quarantine them for 21 days there before they return here. I have recommended that we quarantine anyone wanting to leave the 3 countries in the affected area there before they're allowed to fly to the U.S., have something similar to a forward operating base. And citizens from Guinea and Sierra Leone and Liberia who want to exit those countries and have a visa would put themselves into quarantine at a facility before they exit the country. I think that would be the right thing to do.
So just to summarize that, then in fact you do stand behind travel bans, yes?
Absolutely, I support travel bans, and I support a quarantine.
Okay, Congresswoman Marsha Blackburn, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Of course.